Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today we are looking at gathering some evidence about how different extinct and present day species will help us understand that focus question we have, which is how does an ancestor population evolve into a descendant species with differences in their shared structures. In order to dive into this topic and explore it, we're going to be reading some different articles on some different species, and as we read these articles, we're going to be using our active reading skills. Those active reading skills will come in as we complete our active reading strategies for our different articles, focusing on some of the species you see in the picture right here in the middle of the screen. Now, as we read our articles today, we are going to be doing the following four things. Number one, we're going to be asking questions to better understand the text. We're going to be making connections between what we have read and what we know. We're going to be identifying key vocab and phrases we don't understand or that are confusing. And then we're going to be making summaries of some of the main ideas from the reading after each of the images in the article. So what's going to happen here is we are going to dive into this next task 5 and 6, where we're going to be reading articles, annotating, and then completing some of our summary questions. Before we answer these and before we get into it, we have to dive into our articles and we have to annotate. If you remember, to annotate, we would drag our cursor over a section that we want to ask a question about, make a connection, identify some sort of difficult text, and summarize. We would hit the add comment section, and from here we would type in our annotations. So remember, the 4 annotations we're looking to add as we read our questions, connections, vocab, and summary. Once we have that in there, we hit comment, and now we have it ready to go. So as we're reading, we are looking to keep these 4 things in mind and look to use them as we go through. So, for example, evolution is not just a thing of the past, it happens all the time. That means new species are evolving today. I might comment on this and make a connection by saying, we read about the swallows and how their wings are evolving because of cars. And we'll hit comment. And that's a great example of an article that we read in a previous activity that connects to this idea. There are many ways in which species evolve, but one type of evolution occurs when a species is divided into more than one population living in different environments. So maybe here I highlight over here, I hit comment, and I ask a question. How would a species get divided into different environments if they live in the same place? How would that happen? How is that possible? Now, part of the annotations is understanding that we are engaging with the reading in a way like having a conversation. We know that we're almost asking questions, making connections that might unfold as we continue to read, and that's okay. The goal is to be engaged with the article, making connections, questions, identifying difficult things, and summarizing so that we can better remember it, so that we can make sense of it better, and we can identify where we might need help in understanding what's going on. Now, as we make our comments and as we go through this, at the end of each set of paragraphs below the picture, we are going to summarize everything we read. To do that, we can just highlight the last word or the last section, hit comment, and we are going to summarize. Now remember, to summarize, we want to focus on key ideas and topics, okay? We know that when we summarize, we want to shorten or simplify what we read, okay? And when we summarize, we want to avoid repeating things word for word, okay? In other words, we want to put it into our own words, okay? The summary on top of our annotations is going to help us, again, like I said, make connections and so on. So, as we're reading, we're asking questions, making connections, identifying difficult texts. When we get to the end, right, after an image, we are going to summarize what we read. So, for example, this is an article about the Galapagos tortoises. We would read 1, 2 paragraphs, and then right before this next picture, we would summarize. We'd read this paragraph, summarize, and then we'd read that paragraph and summarize. So notice our summaries are going to be relatively short because there's not a lot of readings, but that's okay. This is going to help us not only answer the summary questions at the end, in the tasks, but also, again, help us better understand the text. So take a second, answer the survey question. Do you understand how to create your annotations for the 3 articles you're reading? Do you understand how to summarize the main ideas from the article within the annotations? Go ahead and take a second, put your X where you fall. Reach out if you put your X in the yellow or red sections, and good luck.